STP. Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL. I'm Kix, your host and organizer of this tournament. We're going to have two series up again today, unlike the usual one we normally have on Wednesdays, because I am slowly but surely getting caught up with when I took a break. Now, I've noticed something in our first game that we need to deal with afterwards, but this is the format, just in case you've never seen the STPL before. It's best of fives the whole way through. So 1 to 4 lineups to select in advance, and all the games are played at the same time. And set 5 is the ace match, which means every player can compete again. Now, it is a team league, and essentially what this means, I've just realized the first player is actually set wrong, so I'm just going to quickly reload that. But basically, what it means is every single game is a best of one. I mean, anyone who's watching now has probably seen the STPL by this point. It's always the same format, not going to change it unless I get a major reason to, but so far we've never had one, so it's all good. But what we'll do is we'll go into introducing our first two teams here to get the ball rolling as quick as we can. Now, starting us off is going to be PSi Storm. Now, PSi Storm, fully Bulgarian team for all intents and purposes, they are essentially the Bulgarian national Brood War team, because I think every single Bulgarian Brood War player might be on pSi. I don't think there's any Bulgarian Brood War players that aren't. Maybe Lucky Noob, but I don't know if Lucky Noob is in the clan or not, but I can't think of any, like, top Bulgarian players that aren't playing for pSi. So it's kind of cool to see them going. Let's have a look at their opponents. It's going to be Ash. Now, Ash, kind of in Season 1, essentially had a lot of trouble. They had a lot of essentially in Season 1, Ash were kind of like the old Ash roster that people were used to, like Goody and a lot of the German players, and a lot of the kind of old school players like Tet and Starsly, and just trying to think of many other players, but it's difficult. They had a lot of activity issues. Tashadan actually stepped down from leading Ash for the STPL, and that's when they added Dreamer. Now, Dreamer stepped in. He did really well. And he first of all, it was actually Dentag. So Dentag kind of stepped in. He built Ash from the ground up. And then, of course, HitEmUp came in to take over from Dentag when he moved to Japan for a bit. And since then, they've just come on strength to strength. They're doing really well this season. They've got some incredibly good players. And they're also kind of like the resting ground of all the like old school pros that a lot of people may remember. Like we've got Rhett, we've got Squall, we've got OctZerg, was quite old school as well. HitEmUp himself has been playing since vanilla. So we've got a lot of old names, a lot of cool names as well. So it's good to see them play. Having a look at our lineups, we're going to start off with a ZvZ Cold versus Squall, so that should be a relatively quick game. We're going to have a TvT between 1A, 2A, 3A and HitEmUp. That could be a little bit longer. We're going to have a TvP between Kiko and Dreamer, and then we're going to have another ZvZ between mitak and OctZerg. So this could be a pretty quick series. We don't have a ZvP for like the first time in ages. I'm not going to say ever, because I'm fairly certain there's been series before where we've not had a single ZvP, but it just seems very strange. I mean, we didn't have a ZvP in NaS versus Seoul on Monday either, so it's just one of those things. I'm so used to Zerg, so used to Protoss players, that it kind of just happens. There we go. Edgewater saying he's emailed Nintendo about the name of the map. Oh my god. Don't send the Nintendo ninjas after me or I'm gonna die. But let's have a look at our first map here. We won't introduce the players again just because it's we're a little bit into the tournament. We don't need to introduce them every single week. But this is going to be Charmander. This is actually the first ZvZ we've had on this map, so I want to say it makes it kind of interesting to find out how this is going to be played, but it's ZvZ, and ZvZ is often played very similarly regardless of the map, unless it's an island map or a semi-island map. So I reckon what we'll see is both players either open a 12 hatch or go for a pool opening. I mean, those are kind of like the two openings you can have, whether it's going to be an in-base 12 hatch or like an outer-base 12 hatch, like you can have 11 hatch and 10 hatch as well. But I reckon this will play out pretty standard. Let's get into its game number 1. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, fighting for pSi in the green. It's Cold from Bulgaria. It's actually cold in Bulgaria as far as I'm aware right now. I know it's cold in Estonia. So, and spawning us off down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the teal, fighting for Ash, it's the Spanish player, Squall. Also, I'm just going to go back to chat for just a second because Casimir said Ohayo gozaimasu, Kiksun, but slightly spelt wrong, but I'll do it. And then he highlighted it with the free the doodle message at the end. But good, nice try. It's Gozai rather than Godai. You were close. Oh, lucky you were saying it's minus 15 the day before yesterday. Oh, that is cold. It never gets that cold in the UK. It's actually 9 degrees outside at the moment in the UK, which is pretty warm for winter. Okay, so we've got both players going for their Overlord, both players going up to their 12th drone as well. So now we're going to see the diversions, I think. We've got a 12 pool coming in from Squall. Sorry, from Cold even. I'm getting my colours mixed up. And a 12 pool coming in from Squall as well, so... まあ俺は日本人ではないけど、まあ日本語使えるんですよね。当たらないっす。Okay, we've got a gas coming in as well for both players, so pretty much exact mirror builds for both. Both players even going for a hatchery on 11 as well, so let's have a look at them both coming up. And neither player is going to scout each other. Mikazo asks, what is this tournament? This is a team league for teams both outside and inside of Korea. We have some sort of multinational teams as well. It's been running now for 4 seasons, around 3 years. It's basically best of 5s the whole way through. Every match or every game is a best of 1, and all 4 games are played regardless of the outcome. Okay, so both players going into some lings. Looks like Cole does have a slight advantage with the ling count. He does have 1 more supply, so it's 2 additional lings that have come in for him. That means Squall is going to be able to get his lair a little bit quicker. And both players are going into ling speed as well, so this is kind of looking like your cookie cutter mirror ZvZ. It's just how things play out. And yeah, this tournament is a professional and amateur mix. We've had pro players playing in it before. We had a pro player playing literally on Monday in NaS vs Seoul. Artosis is allowed to play in this. His team did sign up. Media signed up for Season 1 during Round 2 and 3. And then he never actually played. So, I mean, if he wants to play, I'm happy for him to join a team. It would be really good. But I don't think he wants to. I don't think Artosis would play on the maps we have either, because Artosis likes his standard maps. Anything that's not standard, I think Artosis wouldn't enjoy playing on, so... He's got the very NA mindset of that. Not all NA players are like that, but there's a lot of NA players that will not play on anything that's not bog standard. And I know that for sure. Okay, we've got a Spire coming up for both players as well. Pretty much exact same timing. Neither player has done any damage to each other. Looks like Squall throughout this has managed to squeeze out an extra drone. And the 2 extra lings that Cold got earlier haven't really been used at all. So there we go. Lucky noob admitting you only play 3 maps in 1v1. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to demod you for that. That's it. That's heresy, not heatheny. Heatheny isn't a word. Heatheny. Oh my goodness. I'm not actually gonna demod you though. Okay, it looks like the 2 lings did come in, do a little bit of scouting, and went down. That may have been 1 ling actually, because the supply didn't drop. Now, Cold is doing something interesting here. He does have some lings off to the side. He's even on supply, which means he's got more lings than his opponent. Now, if Squall comes in and doesn't scout these other lings, he is going to get sandwiched here. But the problem is Cold going to be able to hold on? Looks like the wraparound has been activated here, and that's a big win for Cold here, because now he has enough lings that he can go on the counter, and Squall, who wants to be building his Mutalisks right now, is going to have to build lings to respond. No, he's actually just going for the Mutas. The creep colony coming in. It's not going to become a sunken in time though, and I think this could actually be game. Some lings are spawning, but Cold is in such a good place here. He's got so many lings. It doesn't matter if you've got 2-3 Mutalisks. The lings are just going to kill your base before they can kill them. Looks like the sunken does go down. The natural hatchery is going to go down as well. 3 Mutalisks come out here, but that is not going to matter. Without the hatchery, without the evolution chamber, there's going to be no spores coming up either. Looks like a creep colony was coming up in the main, but That's probably not going to morph, and the Lings could actually right-click on the hatchery here, and they will win the game. Or not the hatchery, right-click on the Spire, and they will win the game, but he's just going to go for the drones just to cement his victory. Squall is no longer mining. 9 minerals remaining. The 4 Mutalisks have cleaned up the Lings for now, but it's the Mutalisk follow-up that's going to be the problem, because he has absolutely no income right now. He's only just now started, and we already have a lot of Scourge heading over the map. 4 Mutas are already done here, and 4 versus 4 when Scourge are involved as well means one player has a massive advantage, but that's nice. Mutalisk micro here by Squall so far. He's going to get an Overlord as well, which is good because it is going to supply block cold. The Squall has definitely got his hand on the brakes right now, or his foot on the brakes is probably a better way of saying it, because he is going to be climbing a very, very tall hill to get back in this game. But Cold, not pushing the envelope just yet, doesn't want to throw away the game, wants to ensure that he can go in and win. He doesn't want to go in, lose a load of Mutalisks, and then fall back, but it looks like Squall is trying to move forward, trying to find any damage that he can, seeing if he can find any stray Overlords, and it looks like both players are going to be fighting around this Overlord here. Now let's have a look at the Mutalisk micro again. Looks like one of those Scourge did hit, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Still 4 Mutalisks against 7. Even if he eats all 4 of these Scourge, he should be in a good position to win this, and one of the Mutalisks actually getting caught off guard here. That's going to go down for free here, and GG, Squall taps out. He knows there's no way of coming back in the game, and that's going to be the end of game number 1. We'll be back with game number 2 when we get back after this short break. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We are going to be going into game number 2 now. Unlike what the overlay says, we are going into a different map to this, so just need to add the win for cold there. The one job I had, I didn't do, but Paradise is going to be our next map here. It's a 2-player map. It's made by Gosomi, one of the up-and-coming Korean map makers, and essentially is a really, really fun map. TvT should be a lot of fun here. We've not seen many long games. The longest TvT we've had is 15 minutes. Wait, is it 15 or 13? I can't read. It is 15. So we've had a 15-minute TvT. Are we going to go past that this game? Let's find out as we get into game number 2. Okay, starting us off up here in the top left-hand corner, we have HitEmUp fighting for Ash from Canada. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the blue, fighting for pSi. It's 1A2A3A from Bulgaria. Okay, so it's a TvT. TvT, one of my favorite matchups. TvT is really, really good. A lot of people say that TvT is boring. I say to them that they just have not seen the good TvT games, because the TvT games, the absolute best TvT games are some of the best games of Brood War of all time. They're like the maps completely mined out. There's like one base that both players are focusing all their attention on trying to take. You've got Flash versus Firebat Hero on Moon Glaive. You've got Flash versus Firebat Hero on Neo Medusa. Fantasy versus Flash on pretty much any map they ever played on. Neo Electric Circuit being my absolute favorite one from the TVing 2012 OSL. You've also got Lita versus Light, I think it was. That was a really good one. Basically, yeah, I'm a TvT fanboy. TvT is absolutely incredible. Like, it's the one matchup where the strategic element and basically the positioning element of Brood War comes into play the most. In TvT, it doesn't matter if there's like a small square of buildable terrain off in like the top right hand corner of the map or something. That in TvT is somehow important. Every single bit of buildable and non-buildable terrain can be used for tanks, can be used for setting up defenses, and can be used to make the game even cooler. And basically the best thing about TvT is there's no imbalanced maps in TvT. Like, there isn't really in ZvZ or PvP either, but PvP, for instance, you have maps like where you have the main on the high ground, the aggressive player will almost always have the advantage. That doesn't really exist in TvT. Like, you can essentially get contained and still come back and win. Now, both players are going for a gas here. They'll go into their factories before they go for an expansion. Although 1A2A3A is going to go one... Okay, this is... Is he going 2-fact? Oh my god, he's going to proxy 2-fact. No, he's not. Never mind. He's sending out... Okay. He's pushing with 2 SCVs. I thought he was going to proxy 2 factories in the middle of the map. That's, that was a really interesting thought process I went through in my head. I'm like, well, he's not building a command center. He's letting his money catch up. Is he going to proxy anyway? He's letting his money grow up here, and this isn't going to work. Like, this is not going to work at all. Okay, 1A2A3A has made a massive misstep here. The SCVs are going to get away. That is at least something, but 1A2A3A... He could have had this factory a long time ago. And that's the problem. Like, Brood War is, like, okay, a lot of people say this, and while it is true, it's not necessarily the end of the world if you're behind. But Brood War is a game of seconds, and every moment you've got 200 minerals, 300 gas, you could have had that earlier and have more stuff right now. And that's where that's where 1A2A3 is going to suffer, because HitEmUp has got his expansion up now. He's mining from his minerals. And the longer this goes on, you can already see that his 2 factories are already on the way. So by the time HitEmUp, or by the time 1A2A3's units get to his opponent's base, he's already going to have a defense ready. And that's the scary thing. Now, I thought this was a proxy starport or something, and I was like, okay, cool, we've still got something cool going on, but looks like the Marine going to try and get in a position to block the SCV. The SCV is going to be looking for an expansion, and it is going to be able to see it, and things are going from bad to worse here from 1A2A3A. When you're this far behind, like, he's not that far behind in workers, and that's where a supply deficit comes from, but when essentially everything you've tried to do hasn't worked, and everything you're trying to do has already been scouted, then you're in a lot of trouble. Now, 1A2A3 got lucky in the fact that HitEmUp isn't going for tank first, and he didn't go for mines either, so... I mean, the machine shop has only just started, so it looks like he will go for siege mode, but if he had mines, and this vulture had like 3 or 4 mines out here, obviously you would only have 1, so 3... That makes it very difficult for the player who is pushing with siege tanks to win. Because you can't just go as far forward as you want. And that means you're going to be... that means that you're going to be in trouble. So we've got no vision over here. The barracks isn't being used for vision. He's actually adding on some marines. And as this happens, we've got a Wraith coming out. We've got vultures coming in. Siege mode coming up. We've got the armory done already. So his +1 is going to be a lot quicker the further we go on into this game. Now, if he can get a bunker up here, then this is going to be a hard place to push, because we're going to have a Wraith, like one Wraith, and that is not going to be able to kill a bunker. But you have to have a bunker, or... oh, this is even better. He's just going to pull his SCVs. He's got a big SCV lead, and all of these units are going to get cleaned up, but somehow the tanks are actually trading pretty well. But the other tank is going to go down here. There's only one tank remaining. Oh my god, the repair has been so good. I mean, if he can do enough SCV damage here, he could still come back, but look at this, the Wraith comes out, and there is nothing that shoots up. Siege is done over at the other side of the map here. The bunker is going to be taken down, but the Siege tank, or the Wraith, is the real story, because without those Marines, he's not going to be able to build any Marines. We've got a Goliath coming in. Now, that was an interesting push forward with this tank. I'm not sure I agree with this. He's actually just going to take more damage. I think this push is over. This push is not going to work out. The Wraith is going to go down, but it doesn't matter. Without any tanks, he can no longer push. And look at this, there is still no command center. 1A2A3 was focused a lot on his micro there, and that means he did not macro as well back at home. And it looks like Ash could be tying up the series 1-1 here. Of course, it's TvT, and until the fat lady sings, the game isn't over. But it's rough. This is a rough position. Now, HitEmUp losing 3 vultures there for free. Definitely not the best use of vultures I've ever seen, but good moves by 1A2A3 to be able to micro those down. We do finally have that expansion coming in as well, so that's pretty good. Okay, so those 3 tanks at the front are going to make it very difficult for 1A2A3 to push in. If anything, 1A2A3 should look at maybe just going for a contain and then like double expanding or something behind it. That's a good way you can come back in this kind of situation. He is down 13 workers, and he's only down 8 supply, so that means he is in a good position in terms of that. But look at this, he pushes forward with the tanks, they go down immediately. And I mean, Goliaths are good, he kills the Wraith, but yeah, this ain't gonna go very well. He's gonna get one of the tanks, and he's gonna lose all of his units again. Now, we do have another tank back here, but that is going to be taken down, so he is gonna have to fall back. Okay, second gas finally coming in for 1A2A3. HitEmUp has been sat on his second gas for a while. And this is why being down in TvT can be problematic. He's going to be up against 5 factories. He's only got 2 at the moment, adding a third. And all of the units he's made so far, except this one tank, has died. So 1A2A3 definitely in a rough situation. Looks like we do have the third base coming in from HitEmUp. He's actually going to expand to the further gas base. There is one just behind your minerals at the natural, which is a little bit easier to take. You can kill this egg and get there fairly quickly. But yeah, which is what we're going to see 1A2A3 do. It's a little bit easier for tanks to kill this. But yeah, that's going to be cleared, so he will be able to expand. So he should get a relatively quick third base, but you can see the barracks is being used to scout this base as well. And looks like 1A2A3 might be looking to expand down into the bottom as well. So HitEmUp, scanning ahead, seeing what units his opponent has, and he is going to go on the offensive. Now, this is high ground, this is low ground, so it makes it it's kind of like Blue Storm in the fact it's very difficult to actually engage up this area. So HitEmUp is just going to say, no, I'm not going to bother, just going to go the other side and take my high ground. And by taking this high ground, he secures the base here. There's a base in the top right that he can secure as well. And 1A2A3 is going to be in a bit of a weird situation. Now, just trying to check. Looks like HitEmUp does want to push forward. And this is another good move you can do. Looks like 1A2A3 doesn't know this is coming. And HitEmUp is going to be able to contain his opponent. A lot of tanks not in the right location here. 1A2A3 only now knows about this. and when he comes back to try and defend, his tanks are going to get taken down. Let's zoom out a little bit to get this all on camera, and it would help if I actually showed HitEmUp's vision while I'm doing this. But this is essentially game over. It's so hard to come back from this situation. With only 2 bases, the third is not done. And he's only got 3 tanks against many tanks. 1A2A3 taps out, GG. And HitEmUp wins game number 2, tying the series up 1-1.
Power! Yeah! Final fight!
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3. It's Kiko versus Dreamer. It's going to be on Neo Moon Glaive. We've had a lot of TvP on this map so far throughout STPL's history. 8 games so far. I mean, to be honest, that's maybe not as many as ZvP, but still, for a lot of our maps, the reason why is because we had this back in Season 1 as well, which is why on the latest 5 games, you can see one of them was played in 2018 in March. That was the very, very start, I think it was, of STPL Season 1, so that was a long time ago, back when Ultra was still actively playing for Seoul and Seriosity was playing for NaS. We're going to be going into it. It's game number 3, it's Kiko versus Dreamer, and it's starting right now. Okay, starting for us here in the bottom right hand corner, I've just been given some information which shows that Kiko might be match fixing. It's I've not really, if you're watching the VOD and you can't see Twitch chat, it's, by the way, it's Kiko fight pSi. HitEmUp saying that if you want some hilarious information, Kiko is actually an Ash member and plays for us in BWCL, but plays for pSi and STPL. But it's because basically pSi is the Bulgarian national team. He can't let his countrymen down. That's just how it is. Okay, and his opponent starting up here in the 12 o'clock position is one of the Protoss saviors for Ash. He came in at their time of need. He was essentially their Batman and he started playing incredibly well. It's Dreamer from Russia. Also, I realize I probably shouldn't make a joke out of match fixing, because I know a lot of people, well, especially customers, have been affected by that recently in a bad way. So there we go. It's not really funny, but yeah. Okay, so Kiko gonna go for his SimCity here. You can actually wall in on this map, but it makes it hard to get out of your base a little bit later on, so not super useful to do that as much anymore. Like, Terran Marine Micro is getting so much better that you don't even really, well, you need the SimCity, but you don't need the wall. If I'm playing, I still prefer to wall in, but There wasn't actually any match fixing, but from what I understand, HitEmUp said people contacted his players trying to get them to match fix, which is, luckily enough, they all refused, and they sort of told everyone that it's happening. But basically, yeah, it's not good. Thing is, I have relatively like controversial opinions on match fixing, so I probably shouldn't talk about it, especially on stream, but I think in some cases you can't only just blame the players for match fixing. I think the blame like leans more on the organizations running the tournaments and fairness rules and things. Like there shouldn't... essentially, you shouldn't give players a reason to want or need to match fix. Like a lot of, like, I know obviously Savior was making a ton of money and he still did it, or at least he organized other players to do it, but I did play and record all the Retro Report screens myself, yes. That's why the people playing it don't look very good, because it's all me. I just played like a load of different games and just recorded myself doing it. Yeah, it's like, the thing is, like, so most of the players that ended up match fixing, most of them are on Sparkies, who are a really bad team anyway for, like, treating their players terribly. But also, it was players that weren't really making a huge amount of money. Obviously, there are some cases where, like, you had Wasin, who was a really, really popular Terran player. But I kind of feel like striking their records from history is wrong. Like, I don't think that helps. Like, I don't think a lifetime ban helps either, but maybe in some cases it's better they stay away. I know that a lot of people say that essentially Brood War, the pro scene, died out in Korea because of the match fixing scene, but and that was a large component, but I think a lot of, like, when SC2 was announced, like, a lot of the big companies that were sponsoring were looking at SC2 being like, okay, that's the next big thing, we're going to sponsor that instead. And they dropped their sponsorships. But there was some sponsorships that were lost because of the match fixing scandal, so... I mean, match fixing and what Rapid did are completely different things. They're not even the same kettle of fish of the crimes committed. Like, I'm not even gonna answer that. I don't know how I can answer that. Like, what he did was, like, abhorrent. Like, no one is physically or mentally hurt by match fixing, just the integrity of a tournament. Whereas what Rapid did, mentally and, I don't know, maybe physically, I'm not sure, but like, it wasn't good. But either way, back to the game. I'm getting a little bit too confused, a little bit too, I can't even think of the right word anymore. But basically, we've got two factories coming up here for Kikoa for the two bases against the two gateways on two bases for Dreamer. Robo coming up. He's going to probably go into a observatory behind this, kind of the most standard play you could go for in TvP. Okay, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, just because, I don't know, I've got something on my mind, and recently I've been bottling things up, and it's not been good for me. With Rapid, like, he's not technically been stricken from the record or anything. It's just the people who knew him, who he betrayed, and, like, the people who he made trust him, and then it turned out he was an asshole. They're the people that have blocked him from casting, but he's not technically banned from casting. It's just, I think Rapid knows deep down that if he tried to cast again, no one would watch his stream. And you can still watch his cast from before if you want to. But given the allegations, I don't think a big company like Afrika would hire him again. But looking at this, we've got a push coming in from Kiko. Dreamer in a fairly good position here. Nice micro so far, but oh my goodness. Dreamer getting hit by a massive mine there is going to cause a lot of problems here. This has weakened these Dragoons so much. Oh my goodness, Kiko with good micro there, doing a lot of damage. But Kiko gonna siege up here. Honestly, maybe not sieging would be better, but he's gonna be able to kill these units very quickly if they come for. Now, whoever wins, we're essentially going into a best of 3 because we are tied up 1-1. So it's not the end of the world, but looks like we do have Kiko coming behind here, trying to get some mines behind the Dragoons. Now, if he can lay these down, that would be a good position. He's got one that he's not used yet. And that's definitely something you want to use, but it looks like he has pulled the Dragoons back, so is he going to move forward with his tanks? He's building up to 4 factories here, going to reinforce most likely with mass Vulture. But looks like he is getting ready to pull back, actually. He's not going to push the envelope. He's just going to play this as careful as he can. There we go. Okay, so we've got the first Reaver out here. This is why pulling back is probably the best decision he could have made. Does want to make sure he uses all of these mines. Whenever a Vulture dies with mines, an Angel loses its wings. And yeah, Rheinmetall, the playoffs are the top 6 teams, so looks like a Dragoon was used to sacrifice itself to get the Nexus up and running. A little bit sad for that Dragoon, but he died for Aya. And you never know, there's probably something in StarCraft 2 that dead Dragoons come back as. Like, there's obviously dead Zealots come back as Dragoons in StarCraft 1, so there we go. Now, that was a nice push forward with that Zealot, clearing up all of the mines in the middle of the map. You can already see that Kiko is getting ready to go for a 3rd base here. That single Vulture and this single SCV, if they kill this Nexus, that would be hilarious. I'm gonna keep an eye on this just because that would be too good. And looks like we've got mines being laid here as well, which means the Dragoons aren't going to be able to come back and defend against this. Looks like they're actually going to be able to get up to where the Reaver is. Now, the first Reaver Scarab is going to go off. Mine goes off on the Dragoon, though. And here we go. We've got a push in coming in. Looks like the Reaver at the back being dropped out of the shuttle here. Now, I didn't think this was going to go well, but he actually breaks through. Kiko taps out. GG Dreamer. With the perfect timing. I thought he wasn't going to be able to break that, and he did anyway. There we go. Kiko taps out, Dreamer wins. It's 2-1 in favor of Ash. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 4 here of today's STPL. We're going to be heading into Blindside. It's our third ZvZ here so far. We've never really had a long game here in ZvZ, but that's basically every map. It looks like the average time is around 8 minutes 40 or so we could have another quick game here. It could be a long one, you never know. Let's get started. It is mitak versus OctZerg here in game number 4. Okay, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the Blue Zerg fighting for Ash, currently on match point. It's OctZerg from Macedonia. Oops. And his opponent spawning down here in the purple, fighting to keep his team's dreams alive in the series. It's mitak fighting for pSi from Bulgaria. Okay, so here we are at the 12 o'clock location. Having a look at what's going on so far in this game. Both players going for their overlord, so no 9-pull here so far. Hather asks, what does the blind center area mean? Essentially, if you look here, I mean, you can't really see when it's overlords, but these ground tiles are they're vision blockers, so anything over these grey ground tiles only has one vision. It's very similar to the map Whiteout that was used in the ASL recently. But it basically makes all ground units vision 1. Their range is still as far as it normally is, but unless they can see the unit, they can't fire. So it means melee units are pretty good. Obviously, Zerg are pretty good if they bring overlords, and muteless and flying units are really good there. Okay, so we had an 11, well I think it was like a... Okay, so we had a 12 hatch coming up in the main for mitak, 12 hatch of the natural for OctZerg. Mitak going for... So mitak's going for a ling all in here essentially, and we'll have to see how this is going to work out. Hather, you say you're just come back to Brood War, welcome. You say every map is new to you. Well, in this season of the STPL, pretty much every map is brand new, so... It's gonna be a struggle. You probably won't know a lot of the maps. HitEmUp saying in chat that mitak ling all inning the king of ling all ins is is ballsy. Okay, so both players going to scout each other out at the same time. mitak isn't going to know about the second hatchery, but he should have a suspicion based on the timing of everything. And obviously OctZerg is going to see the lings all popping out, so OctZerg knows exactly what he's up against. Now, he did get ling speed later, so there is a small period of opportunity here for mitak to win. But as long as OctZerg doesn't lose his natural hatchery, and as long as he keeps hold of this ramp, he is going to be in a very, very good spot. HitEmUp in chat saying that you should be like him, play 3 games a week, but because you play Terran, get game wins for free. Oh my goodness. Literally, there's like 5 Zerg players in the chat, and like 5, well maybe not in the chat, but there's like 5 Zerg players and Protoss players, like really die-hard, like dsaqwe fans who are like, I knew it! Terran players don't play and they just win! He confirmed it! dsaqwe confirmed! But there we go. Looks like we are going to have mitak moving forward here with his lings. There is a sunken here already, as well as a good number of lings. This is probably why you don't ling-all in the ling-all ling king, because oh my god, that is such a mouthful to say. But there we go. Looks like he is going to come in. Let's see if he can break through here. It's going to be rough. The Sunken is going to be taking a lot of damage here, and it's going to be dealing a lot of damage as well. But looks like the Sunken has gone down. The arc by OctZerg a little bit too strong. Obviously, with more lings coming in, this should be possible to come back from here. But he is down one worker and down 2 supply. So every engagement he takes is going to go worse and worse from here out. The math does not add up. He's now down 4 supply, 3 supply now, and OctZerg has held on to his natural, and that is the most important moment in this game because mitak getting ready to push into the main, seeing if he can find some damage, but I don't even think he's going to be able to get a drone here. It's going to be rough. One of the lings is taken down by the king of ling all ins. But if it fails once, go again. Round 2, getting ready to come in here, but with OctZerg up 10 supply, 11 supply. No, it's 10 supply. I'm very bad at maths. It's going to be rough. mitak is going to be on the back foot the whole time. He's having to go into an evolution chamber to be able to stand a chance of surviving against the muteless that are heading his way. Because his mutas will not be out in time. He's going to be, well, he's not going to be supply blocked from just losing this. But I think he's probably going to be leaving this game fairly soon. And we do have some more lings over here. There's 2 sets of lings going to come in against the 1. Now mathematically, 2 is more than 1. But there's obviously flying units that do a lot of damage. So he's going to pull back. Going to get ready. And we'll have to see how that's going to go. Now we do have the first spore colony coming up in the middle of the mineral line. Very nicely placed. It should cover, I think, all of his mineral line here. But the Overlord is in a position where it can actually beat some of the shots if he goes in right now. So we'll have to see if that happens. Oh my god, he killed the Ursidon. mitak killed the Ursidon with Ursidon with his lings. Why did he do that? Yeah, this is game over now. Oh, nice Mute Micro so far. Does get hit by 1 of the Scourge, but that's not the end of the world. Killing another Overlord here. And I think this is going to be it. I think mitak has just taken too much damage now. He's got a lot of lings that are all going to die. He's going to be unable to break in. I mean, look at how many lings OctZerg has back at home. That's more to the control group. And mitak does have the two hatcheries, but he can't afford mutas from both of them. He's not got the second gas. OctZerg still hasn't either. But he's not got the second set of minerals either, so he's just going to be behind. And I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin. OctZerg is like, okay, well, I killed all your lings, so you probably don't have any now. I'm just going to run into your base and kill you. He doesn't even need his mutas to win, but you know what? He's probably going to bring them in anyway. We've got a spore colony coming up here that's going to go down to the lings as well. If only that was the Sunken. I mean, it would die anyway, but he'd stand a chance. It looks like he's not even bringing his muteless down here. He's just going to try and win with the lings. Oh my goodness, where are his mutas? Are they back at home? Yeah, they're just back here. Like, they're not... Was there like a small ling counterattack that did nothing? Did I miss something? I don't know. I don't think it really matters. I think mitak has done this game. He's down almost 30 supply in ZvZ, which is... that's a little bit rough, especially given the fact he's only down 6 workers. Like, when you're in that position... I mean, this Spire is going to die immediately. There we go. Kaboom. Spire goes down. The spawning pool is going to go down as well. And with no spawning pool... I mean, what are you going to do? Build drones? I mean, 3 muteless here, valiantly trying to hold on, trying to get the spores to connect, but yeah, mitak unfortunately is going to lose the game here. He was unable to keep the dream alive for pSi. pSi are going to tap out, or mitak's going to tap out, so are pSi. Ash is going to win the series 3-1. Okay, so let's go through the results here. Just quickly, starting us off, Cold One, game number 1 against Squall, which was a very impressive ZvZ win. HitEmUp winning over 1A2A3 on Paradise. Dreamer taking a win over Kiko on Moon Glaive, which was quite the comeback, I would say. And then OctZerg winning over mitak in game number 4. That is going to be the end of our first series for today. Up next, we have, what is it coming up? We've got Wico versus NaS. We are going to have some very good series. There's not a single mirror in that game or in that series. So I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes for series number 2. I just winked, or I just not winked, but I just like nodded as if you could see me. But there we go.
Pretty bold, aren't we? I'll take care of you myself.
Okay guys, sorry I went a bit above my timer. One of these days I'm going to learn how to use a countdown timer and actually stick to it, but what I decided to do was add all the previous games to the database already and put all the times and stuff in. But starting us off here for our second series, we're going to have Wico. Wico have been a fairly strong team so far, but they've not been unbeatable. I'm coming out with some really good English today. They're not completely unbeatable. They lost to Seoul. I can't even remember, was that series even close? It was so long ago. But either way, Wico have come close multiple times to losing. They've not got a perfect record, unlike Seoul, of course. And they've had some really, really good series, so it's been a lot of fun to be able to watch them. Their opponent's going to be the North American squad, NaS. The North American squad, surprisingly not having many North Americans in it anymore. We've got dsaqwe from Croatia, StRyKeR from the US, Dragon from Canada, and Terra from Peru. Terra and Dragon especially are two of the best players in the STPL without a doubt. So really, really cool to be able to see them again this season. They're doing pretty damn well for themselves. They're in the top 6 already, and they're going to be looking to get further ahead here with a win over Wico. They've also got a very, very good all-time record as well. 31 wins, 17 losses. Like, that is really impressive. But let's have a look at the lineups we're going to have. We are going to have, obviously, well, not obviously, but we've not got a single mirror this time. We've got a ZvP between mitak and dsaqwe. We've got a PvZ between hiya and StRyKeR. We've got a PvZ between Last and Dragon. And then we've got a PvT between Speed and Terra. So if you were missing ZvP in the last series because we didn't have a single one, here we get 3 of them. But we do have Dragon, who is one of the best Zerg versus Protoss players in the entire STPL, and I'm not sure what the other ones are going to look like. So Dragon versus Last, I think, is definitely going to be my highlight game of the ZvPs, and of course I love watching Terra, so that should be a really, really good game for. Let's hop in to game number 1. We're not going to go into too much introduction, just because, I mean, we've seen all the map stuff before. We saw it last series, so I'm trying to fit around I'm trying to get my information out a little bit better without showing everything all the time. So hopefully we can make that work. That's what I've been working on this season. But let's get into it. Game number 1. It's mitak versus dsaqwe, and it's on Charmander. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have in the teal fighting for NaS. From Croatia, it's dsaqwe. And his opponent down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the blue, fighting for Wico. It's mitak from South Korea. Okay, so ZvP, we've had a lot of them in the STPL. One of the statistics I want to bring out is how many ZvPs we've actually had. That would be an interesting one to look at. I think I'm going to do that at the end of Season 4. What we'll do is we'll do a roundup of what sort of games we had, what the longest games of Season 4 and stuff were. I think that could be an interesting roundup post. Because I think BSL did something like that, but I'm not 100% sure. I know it's probably on Liquipedia as well, because the people who edit Liquipedia are the absolute best. Just while we get into this series, of course, I want to say a big shout out to our sponsors, Esport Fund and Match Arena, both of which, along with community contributions, have made our prize pool super big already. If you want to help us reach our $2,000 goal, you can add 50 cents to the prize pool completely free by supporting over on Match Arena with the code STPLS4. The link is now Now dsaqwe is going to go for a Forge Fast Expand here, nothing too crazy going on. Muteli going for a 12 hatch as well, so pretty much this is your bog standard opening for a TvZ. Now the last game we saw from dsaqwe ended up being a very long one. It was a game against Hero, it was around 40 minutes if I remember correctly. Was that one of the ones that broke into? No, that was Last versus Venom. So Wico have had some long games. And I'm sorry Moobot decided to spam directly after I spammed it, so there we go. You get to see them link twice. That's even double the reason to click on it. Click on the link, go put in the code. It's very, very easy. You don't have to pay anything either. And you can log in with basically any account. It's great. Matrino is really, it's a really good, really good system. And thanks to your guys' contributions, we actually made it into the top 100 partners of Matrino last year, so that's pretty cool. The only thing I'm actually officially a partner of, which is nice. Doc Holiday in chat saying, we'll donate $100 if we change the name to One Piece Sucks League. Unfortunately, that is not something that any amount of money can buy. One Piece is literally a masterpiece in every single way. The anime is probably not as good, but the manga is on another level. I've been reading the manga now for the last year or so. I've almost caught up. I mean, I'm catching up on like 25, 30 years of manga, right? And it is so good. Oh my god. I could talk about One Piece all day. One Piece is about essentially the Pirate King gets executed, and on his execution, his final words are, in an island, you will find everything you could possibly want, my treasure, the One Piece. And basically it creates a new generation of pirates who all go out searching for the One Piece. They're vying for power, everything like that. And then Luffy comes along, who's the protagonist, and he wants to become the Pirate King. It's really good. The anime is badly paced in some places. Read the manga. But the manga is literally one of the best mangas ever written. It is so good. Like, there's some arcs that went over like 3 years, and I read them in like 3 days. I just couldn't stop reading. It was so good. It's so well written. And Oda, who is the person who wrote it, has essentially had the One Piece story planned out since he was a kid. Like, there's even pictures in his school books of him like doodling Luffy before he became a mangaka. And that is really cool. That is awesome. Now, we've got 3 bases up for Muteli. I don't want to go on about the game. Well, I don't want to go on about the game too much. I don't want to go on about One Piece too much, even though it is so damn good. But basically, we have dsaqwe sitting back on his 2 bases, kind of getting ready to go into his Templar Archives, his additional gateways and everything as well. Now, there's actually no Templar Archives just yet, so he's delayed that in order to go for a cannon in his main base instead. Now, delaying this can cause a lot of problems. It's good against, well, it's not even good against Mutas to delay it, actually, but I guess he's planning on going for a little bit of a later Templar Archives to go into some additional tech earlier on. Now, Muteli going for a 4th hatchery up here in the top right-hand corner. If you've not seen this style before and you're kind of a little bit confused, especially because nowadays Zergs don't really play this style very much. What you do is your 3rd hatchery goes a far base away from the Protoss player, usually the other natural on a 4-player map, and essentially you play tower defense for a while. You take a very quick 4th base and you defend your... Oh my god, that move was so good. Did you see that? There we go. Look at that Scourge usage. Loops around, catches the Corsair mid-flight. And who says Scourge AI is bad? And yeah, Ryan Metal says in chat, STPL is just a cover for our VR and anime fan club. That is true. That is very, very true. Now it looks like dsaqwe does want to break his way into the third base here. This is actually quite a dangerous place for the Hydra den to be. You kind of need Hydras. So if he loses, this is going to be good. But look at the defense here. The two Sunkens. It looks like it could be enough, but the Zealots are broken through. There is a drone blocking, but it doesn't block for long. The Sunkens are going to go down. And is dsaqwe going to do critical damage here already? Looks like he's splitting up his Zealots quite a lot here. This is going to find the fourth base. Now the one thing to note on this map as well, if you defend the other main, you also get a free mineral only, so you can go up 6 base very quickly. And there we go. It looks like we are going to have a lot of drones going down here. dsaqwe doing so much damage. He should have really focused the Hydra den though. I think that would have been a little bit better. But there's a lot of muteless here now. This means this push is not going to do any more damage. But he did get a good number of drones. But he is up against 4 hatcheries. But this hatchery at the top could be going down here. It's going to be close. 169 health, 89, 58, 42, 26, 10, 11. And he saves the hatchery. What a timing there by those muteless to be able to save that. 1 hit away from death. Honestly, he should just suicide his Zealots in to try and get that 1 hit. But that is going to regen. He's building a lair on it as well, just to ensure that it gets more health. And that was a save and a half. He's already back up to 43 drones against 48 probes. And the one thing about this map that dsaqwe is going to have trouble with is it's very difficult for Protoss to get a 3rd gas here. Berserk, by the way, just because I don't want to leave that question undone in chat. Berserk is one of the best manga ever made, but the anime is really bad. Do not watch the anime ever. There has not been a single good version of Berserk made in animation yet. It's all terrible. But the manga is amazing. I've not read it, but I probably will do after this. Now oh my god, the Archon's actually getting really unlucky. They could have got a massive hit on top of the Mutalisks, but they were right-clicked on the right-click on the thingamabob, the temple. Oh my god, losing 2 of those High Templar as well. Very, very annoying. Taking a lot of damage on the Mutalist though is Mutali. Oh, Mutali. Mutali's Scourge are so good. So good. And HitEmUp. Berserk will get finished. Just because Murata goes on a break every time a new Idolmaster comes out doesn't mean it's not going to get finished. It'll get finished. You just gotta wait. Wait, is it Murata? Murata Sensei is Berserk, right? I think it's Murata Sensei. Maybe not. And I've somehow managed to Google for dessert instead of Berserk. That's really dumb. Looks like we are going to have round 2 of the Zealot attack coming in. +1 attack is done, of course. Unable to break in here. Oh, it's Miura. It's Miura Sensei. Murata, I think, is Ice Shield 21. Yeah, it's Miura Kentaro. My bad. Got the wrong mangaka there. That's I dropped my weeb card. Oh my goodness. And we do have those lurkers up and ready now, so the defense is going to be even harder for our Protoss player to break. And that is when things get a little bit frustrating for our Protoss. They can take a 3rd base finally, which he will do. He does have a 4th base that he can take at this mineral only. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. At least for the time being, given the Muteless are still very much a threat. Now, this is actually a good area for Guardians as well. Also, just to clear up something to anyone reading Twitch chat, Doc is saying that I'm dodging. I actually played with him a couple of weeks ago. It was the first games of Brood War I've played in ages, and I'm fairly certain I won a few and lost a few. So I think I think it would be quite close if we played, but I don't want to play with any pressure. I just want to play the game if I'm going to play the game. I enjoy playing Brood War, but it's too stressful for me to play it. That's basically my problem. If I'm gonna spend time playing games, I don't want to play stuff that stresses me out. I get stressed enough with work. You know, that's my problem. That's why that's why basically I play VR chat so much, because there's absolutely no pressure to do anything other than talk to people. And if I could play Brood War with a light gun, maybe I'd play it. That'd be fun. That would be incredibly fun. It'd be like playing Brood War on a Guitar Hero controller or something. Wonder if anyone's ever done that. That'd be an interesting, interesting thought experiment. You could use the, I don't know what it's called, but like the stick that you have at the bottom that you can like wiggle to make it go like wow, 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 wow. I don't know what they call it, but you could use that as like a mouse. Oh, whammy bar it's called. Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about guitars. But either way, we've got a big Protoss army here. 2-1 upgrades are done against the only +1 carapace so far by the ground units. You can already see though that there's a lot of Sunkens back here. Like, he does not want to lose this base. Now, looks like Mutali wants to try and go for a probe that he did see go up here. This is going to stop a possible 4th or 5th base. Now, dsaqwe is playing this perfectly for this situation. Zerg are essentially, you know they're on 4 bases, you know you're not going to be able to break any of them, you may as well just start mass expanding. And that's the most important thing you can do in PvZ, because one of the problems you see a lot of Protoss players make, even at the pro level, is they will see something like this, which, I mean, realistically, are you ever going to break this? No. No amount of Protoss units are going to break this base before reinforcements come. What you want to do is you want to stop the Zerg from being able to take another gas base, which he's going to try and do here, and then you just mass expand yourself, because they can't attack you. If they attack you, you can kill their bases. And I did not accept any doodle challenge, I didn't read it. Sorry, I don't understand English, I can't read. The only doodle challenge there is to get the season's prize pool to $3,000. $1,000 of that will go to next season's prize pool and to free the doodle, and the $2,000 will be used for this season's prize pool as we're aiming for. You can crowdfund Season 5, and you can also crowdfund freeing the doodle, so it's all good. Yeah, it's bail money, basically, bail money. I need to speak to Esport Fund as well to see if they'll continue for Season 5, but until, like, we know Season 5 is definitely happening and when, I'm not gonna, like, there's no point in me applying, because, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But Esport Fund are amazing, they're a great sponsor. Now, we've got dsaqwe trying to expand up here. Now, Mutali does not know this is happening, but he does have units over there already. And you can already see Mutali getting ready to send some more units over to try and defend this top left-hand base. Because Mutali knows if he stops dsaqwe from mass expanding, he has essentially won the game. Now, there are a gas base at 12 and 6, and this could be the first time we actually see them both get used. Oh my god, look at the amount of cannons. dsaqwe has learned from Venom. He's seen what King Venom was able to do with his cannons, and he's like, I want to do that. I want to do it. I want to build all the cannons. But looks like we are going to have a push coming down to try and contain the Protoss player in his main. Now, there's a lot of units coming over here by Mutali. He is really going for this engagement. Now if we look back at home, there's still a decent amount of defense, so he can't get broken. But I don't see him breaking through here. Now it looks like the Zealot's getting in a good position. Nice storm on top of those Lurkers, going to make that even better. Kind of storming his own Zealots, so does need to be careful. But looks like he has defended against that engagement so far. Now it sounded like we had a drop coming in, but looks like the 6 o'clock base is going to be taken here by our Zerg player. Now is Mutali going to lose this base, or is dsaqwe going to get here and stop it? He's expanded as well to the 3 o'clock location, so he is in a very good spot. But dsaqwe is playing very strongly here. 3-2 upgrades already against 1-2 on melee and 1-2 on ranged as well. So I would say dsaqwe is in a pretty good spot this game so far. There's obviously a lot of time going still. Let's zoom out a little bit. Well, I'm already zoomed out. I've noticed I seem to zoom out all the time. I hope you guys don't mind it. I've never had any complaints that I'm zoomed too far out, so I'm hoping at this stage in the game you don't mind seeing everything. Because essentially, when you go like this, it feels like you can't see anything. You know, when you zoom out just a little bit, it's like, oh, look how much more I can see of the screen. Cast it fully zoomed in. Here we go. Okay, so what's going on? Where are we dropping? Oh, recall! I didn't even realize this was a recall. I didn't think that was going to happen. But that's what happens when you zoom in. I completely missed it. But there we go, the base goes down. It's not often you get to see recall in PvZ, and we just missed it. But it's coming in. Someone says I need a dedicated observer. That would probably help, but then I wouldn't be able to cast anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just assumed there was like an observer going in up there, because who builds an arbiter in PvZ, right? dsaqwe definitely pulling out the cool strats. And there's no overlord here, so all of these hydras, they're coming down, and all they can attack is the arbiter, so these units have traded incredibly well, and it just keeps getting better until the arbiter dies. But there we go. Arbiters are a very good way of breaking into bases, though, for Protoss. Now the Mutalisks are blocking the top left-hand base. Some Zealots coming back here to help out. I'm not really sure that's going to help too much, but they are going to pull some of the... Okay, that's actually going to help out perfectly. 2 of the Mutalisks get taken down. I thought this was another Arbiter, but I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye out for that. The 6 o'clock base is still alive. dsaqwe did lose a lot of his units. We do have another Arbiter here that's going to be flying over the top of the... Okay, this is going to die. This is 100% dead. Stasis or something. Oh, no. That was nearly full energy as well. That is not what you want happening. Oh, my goodness. Okay, one of the... Oh, that lurker was Limford Christie as a lurker, just running past everybody there. I guess that doesn't really work as a reference anymore. Oh my god, I'm old. Oh no, I'm old. But looks like we are going to have the Zerg pushing forward to the top left-hand bases. He wants to stop his Protoss opponent from being able to expand. He's up to 8 bases now, going into his 9th against the 3 base power of dsaqwe. But he needs the 4th base. He needs the 5th base. And at the moment, he's just having trouble taking it. Yeah, I zoomed in and I immediately zoomed back out again. Oh, it's HitEmUp. Supposedly it's HitEmUp's birthday, and he turned 31. Happy birthday, old man. You're older than me. Now, all of these lurkers are going to go up in flames here, but this is still a ton of units. 2 of the lurkers not even burrowing. These are Cadenza lurkers right here. And actually going to lose all 3 of them. There's a Defiler here, which isn't using any spells either, so... Not quite sure about that engagement. Mutali losing a lot of money. His bank is not that big right now. Apparently it's Russ Brain's birthday as well. But dsaqwe is playing this really well so far, but there's so much Zerg everywhere, it's crazy. Now one of the observers getting caught off guard there by a storm. Looks like observers don't work well in hurricanes. Looks like this continues to be a problem. dsaqwe not using his storms. Needs to use his storms. There we go. Storms the lurker eggs. This is going to make them very, very weak. And should allow him to clean these up. We've got 2. Oh no, he's going to lose his full energy arbiter again. Doesn't want to lose that. If Plague comes in though, if he plagues, these units are not going to be cloaked anymore. Now stasis on some of his units at the back, and he actually, oh my god, he stasised his only observer. Oh, there comes another one. Okay, so he does have another observer, but that's kind of funny. Oh man, that's like the most misplaced stasis ever. But yeah, the lurkers are going to go down. No plague was used. I wonder if he's got plague researched. That could be an interesting thing to check out for. But nice engagement so far by dsaqwe. Oh, there goes the plague. Okay, so he does have plague researched. And all of a sudden, this is why... Okay, so this is why Mutali was losing his engagements. He wasn't plaguing. Plaguing makes Protoss units so unbelievably worthless that it's just it's a little bit OP in PvZ. I don't know, but oh no, he's gonna lose his arbor to it. Oh, it was nearly full energy as well. He lost it to a spore. Oh man, I hate plague. Plague is so frustrating to play against, even as Terran, and even as Zerg. Like if you plague Mutalisks, the game is over. Like as soon as one player gets plague, if they've both gone hive, the first person to plague just wins the game. Like, there's no coming back. Like, plague is just broken. Okay, Archon is the only thing that can get plagued and still be decent because of its sheer amount of shields. And Dark Archon as well, essentially. Nice storm there. So many lings getting taken down there. Oh no, he stormed his own probes. Wait, did the probes die to the? Oh, I don't know. Was that a lurker spine or was that storm? I can't tell. But that was a big transfer of probes that all went down. He sent them in through the worst position. He could have sent it to the 3rd and then sent them up. But here we go. We're going to have another recall coming into one of these bases. This is a 12 o'clock location. Going to be taken down here by these units. But here come the Scourge. Gonna fall back. They are going to still kill the Arbiter though, because Scourge are damn good. And looks like this is going to be cleaned up pretty well. dsaqwe is starting to struggle a little bit this game. This reminds me of his game against Hero on Monday, where he was doing incredibly well in all of the engagements. And then it just, like, every engagement went badly for him. And that's going to be a problem, but things aren't that bad. We do have a DT here, which is going to help clean up all of these units. There's no Overlord down here, so this DT is worth its weight in absolute gold. Looks like we do have some of the lurkers pushing up here. These units up here are still alive, so he is still pushing. This is going to be a good storm if he does it, but looks like he doesn't want to storm his own zealots. He should storm though. He should definitely storm. There we go. The storm goes on, kills a lot of those units. dsaqwe though in a very awkward position with his units, finding it very difficult to be able to hold on to his base. Both the players' supplies are low, but with the Zerg at an advantage, this is when things become a lot worse for the Protoss player. We've got good upgrades, 3-3-1, but GG is called. He knows he can't get enough units quick enough to defend, and Mutali wins game number 1. Yeah, that was a fairly long game, so we're going to go for a little bit of a break here, and when we get back, we are going to be going into game number 2. Let me double check whose game that is. It's going to be StRyKeR versus hiya on Paradise. It's a ZvP, by the way. That was a good PvZ. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 2 between NaS and Wico. We have in the white, in the top left hand corner of your screen, fighting as our Protoss player, it's Bypass. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner, fighting in the blue for NaS. It's StRyKeR from the US of A. Okay, so it's a ZvP. It's the second of 3 ZvPs we're going to have this series. The next one is going to be Dragon versus Last. But we just had a really good ZvP there, so hopefully this one's going to live up to the hype of the last one. We'll have to find out how the game goes. Of course, there's a difference here, and this is a 2-player map rather than a 4-player, which means the game will play out differently. It's very likely we'll see another Hydra Bust. We've seen a lot of Hydra Busts on this map by Zerg, and I don't think this game is going to be any different. Now, if you're just tuning in for the STPL for the first time, this map or this tournament is sponsored by Esport Fund and Matrino. It's been going on now for, well, this specific season has been going on now for about 2 months. We've got about 1 month remaining of the normal season, then we'll have the playoffs. And then we will have Season 5 later in the year. But we've had 3 seasons so far. They've been action-packed, they've been great, and it's been a lot of fun running them. I did say hiya would play, but it wasn't that hiya anyway. It was a different one, but it looks like he was subbed out, and I missed the message, so I didn't update my thread, which is where I got the details from. So that's my bad. Bypass subbed in for the hiya that's playing for Last, who isn't the pro player hiya anyway. It's a Korean amateur called hiya, who's a Protoss player. If there's one thing I have problem with in the Korean scene, it's the fact that they keep using pro gamer IDs and they use a different race. Then again, if they use the same race, it'd be even worse, so I shouldn't complain. We've got a gateway first coming in for Bypass, where a StRyKeR went for a overpull into a hatchery. Looks like he's going to push forward with some of these lings. Now, there's already 2 zealots in place to defend against this. But there's no cannon, so if he can get an overwhelming number of lings, get the perfect engagement, he could actually break his way into the main. And looks like that's what he's going to try and do. We've got 4 lings coming in behind the first one that went in first. That doesn't make any sense. But lings are actually going to get into the main here, so they could do a little bit of damage. Obviously the lings taking damage. Nice micro by Bypass so far. But this is 4 lings, and they should be able to get a couple of probes here. 5 lings even. A couple of them are 1 swipe away from death, but that's just how that goes in ZvP. Now the important question is, can he hold on to his micro? Can he keep the lings alive? Or are we going to see a big flub here and lose them without doing any damage? It is so hard to keep your lings alive as well as micro, so I do not blame StRyKeR if he does lose them. Looks like he didn't manage. He got 1 probe, I think. So one probe did go down in the making of that. We've got the Nexus up here as well. Third base coming in for StRyKeR, but he's building it behind the minerals, so it means a third, or a quick Hydra bust is probably not coming because he's not going to be able to get the Hydras out of his base. So that basically means one of your hatcheries is entirely pointless. Now there are still 2 Lings alive in the main. Speed is not quite yet done. When speed is done, it makes it a lot harder to kill the Lings with the Zealots, obviously. Looks like one of the Lings getting a little bit caught off guard, so taking a little bit of extra damage there that he doesn't want to. But he is going to get another probe, so 2 probes so far. Still not that bad. Back at home, we don't have a lair coming up just yet. But we don't have a Hydra Den either, so it's not going to be a Hydraless bust. I mean, I said that before, but just confirming it as well. Probe gonna get chased away by the Lings. Speed is still not done, so the fact that he's still got this Ling alive is very impressive. But there we go, looks like the speed of the Ling is gonna die. But by doing that, he actually delayed bypasses tech quite a bit here, so the tech isn't up to scratch. +1 has only just started as well, so StRyKeR actually got a lot of value out of those 5 Lings that broke into the main. He didn't kill much, but he just kind of delayed what Bypass wanted to do. And that's pretty much exactly what you would want in a situation like this. Now, realistically, we should see StRyKeR kill this very soon with some units. We're going up to 5 hatcheries before a Hydra Den and before a lair as well, so this is a very macro-orientated play. Now, obviously, with Wico being up 1-0, this is kind of an important game for NaS. NaS don't really want to go down 2-0 against a team as good as Wico. Now, of course, Dragon is coming up in Game 3. He's kind of like the ace in the hole for NaS and has been since Season 1. Obviously, they've got Terra in Game 4 as well, so they've definitely saved their 2 best players until last. But if they can win, or if they can... if they can win without going to the ace match, they'll be very happy, because you've got last on Wico's roster. I would say without a doubt he's one of the best players on their team, and he's one of the best players in the STPL as well, so you don't really want to fight him again. Like Dragon, if he can beat him in Game 3, if they have to play again, last is probably going to have more of an advantage if Dragon goes for something aggressive. And there we go, looks like we are going to have the egg being cleaned up here. That's going to allow units to flow freely in and out of this base, which is very, very important. Looks like the Zealots are starting to come over to try and do some damage. Nice SimCity so far at the front of his base. This should make it a little bit harder for the Zealots to push in. But probably want the Lings with the Hydralisks here rather than attacking the egg. But I guess he wants to make sure the egg does go down even. Looks like Bypass realizes there's no damage to be had, so he goes back home. Doesn't want to lose any of his units. +1 isn't done yet either, and neither is Zealot leg speed. So it's not quite the perfect timing, so it makes it a little bit harder to break through. So there we go. Now, Mindflayer actually said in chat, I'm really curious how so many people can watch Brood War streams while being at work. Does it not stand out that you're not doing anything, or is that a German thing? I think if you're like in an office job of any kind, it's very easy to like watch something while working. Like my second screen, especially recently, has just been YouTube videos all day. Because I've still been doing work, I just pause the videos when I'm not watching. Or when I'm having to do some like a phone call or something. I think I would go insane if I couldn't do that. Like genuinely, I would go insane. Like, I've said this before on stream, but nobody works 100% of their workday. Anyone who says they does is lying. Especially in an office job. Office workers work way too long for the amount of work there actually is to do. You can't be productive that long. Like, the human mind is not made to be productive for 8.5, 9 hours a day in a row. Like, you just can't do it. Now we are going to have Zealots pushing out here. +1 attack is done. Speed is done as well. Looks like we do have Hydra speed done, but range may not be finished just yet. Nice micro so far by Bypass. StRyKeR definitely struggling a little bit here to micro this back. So these Zealots are going to clean all of these like Hydras up. I don't know what happened there, but StRyKeR, he was over microing, I think. Like, he was taking way too much damage. And rather than just fight the Zealots, which would have like either damaged a lot of them or killed them, I don't know. But looks like he is going to get on top of some more Hydras that have come back around the side. Now the Zealots are getting lower. The Corsairs doing a ton of damage to the Overlords, which is definitely not a position you want to be in. Bypass's Zealot micro here has been absolutely stellar. So this makes it very, very awkward here for StRyKeR, who is going to be majorly supply blocked. And this could be a position that's impossible to come back from. Mindflayer saying that if you start to watch anything and do that for more than 3 days, it would be immediately in trouble because my reduced productiveness would stand out. I'm able to focus 9 hours a day. I don't know. Science has even said that that's not possible. Like, you can't work at 100% for that long. Like, the human brain isn't built to focus 100% for that long. It's just not possible. You could be working all day, but you're not going to be constantly writing code 100% of that day, right? Like, you may still be focusing, but I don't know. But here we go, another push coming in. Lots of Zealots again, lots of Hydras. There's not... The Sim City is just not up to scratch here. Losing a ton more Overlords again. Bypass is just absolutely ravaging these Overlords here. There's absolutely nothing that StRyKeR can do. He needs better SimCity here, but he just can't get the space to build it. I don't know, it just feels so weird. Like, this is such a good situation for Bypass to be in. StRyKeR feels like he has to go all in here, but he can't even rebuild all of his Overlords, so he's in a lot of trouble. We've got a lot of Storm back here to help defend against this. Now StRyKeR is going to fall back to the high ground Zealots, coming in from the side to actually help out against this. Now if he can micro back long enough without getting stormed, he stood a chance there, but unfortunately the Storm and the High Templar caught up with the Hydras. And then, I don't know. This is not looking too good. StRyKeR down 50 supply now over his opponent. He's still only 8 workers down, which isn't too bad. He does, of course, have the option of going for another base, but Bypass's army is so strong. We should have +2 attack very, very soon. It's almost finished up. We're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gateways. We've got an observatory coming in as well. And I mean, this is a Zerg player who only has +1 attack. No lurkers are available. And even if there were lurkers, it would be very difficult. Oh, the lurker upgrade is done. Okay, so we do have lurkers coming in. This will make it a little bit easier to hold on to this. There is still a decent number of storms. There's at least 5 I've counted there. 6, almost 7 coming in here. So there will be a lot of storm available. The first storm is used. The Hydras do not move. And that's rough. Now we do have a drop coming into the main. It's a DT coming in here. And that is, there's no Overlords down here. Oh, StRyKeR is not going to see this going on. We've got the Corsairs killing more and more Overlords. 5 kills on the DT already. The Lurkers coming up here. 7 kills. 8 kills. Lurkers getting stormed. Trying to block the units from being able to return home. But once again, StRyKeR is down to just the Overlords that he has for his supply. 9 kills on the DT so far, and it's got stuck trying to go for the 10th. What is the DT doing? There we go. 10 kills, 11 kills. StRyKeR hasn't realized either. 12 kills, 13 kills. StRyKeR does clean up the units in the middle of the map. Maybe he can push this base. But with a 15 kill DT running up towards the natural where there is also no Overlords, I think this is bound to be game over. StRyKeR is going to have to notice in a second that he has no drones. It looks like the push at the front is not going very well at all. A lot of the units have gone down. And there's just way too many Dragoons here. 19 kills on this DT. And he's going to be able to... Okay, don't go up to the third base. That ain't going to work. Oh, he doesn't get 20 kills. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this game is pretty much done. Bypass has played a very strong PvZ. GG, StRyKeR taps out. That's going to take us into game number 3 when we get back with Dragon and NaS's life on the line. After this. Okay, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3 here. It's last... Oh, sorry. Starting us off in the top, or the bottom left-hand corner. Fighting for NaS. It's their captain. He is going to have to win this game if he wants NaS to stand a chance of winning the series. It's Dragon. Fighting for NaS. There's OctZerg. And down here in the bottom right in the green, fighting for Wico on match point. It's one of Wico's best players. It's last. Okay, I know I know I should be focusing on the game, but I've just seen an article. Oh wait, it's from 4 years ago, never mind. Okay, I nearly spread some like unimportant news. Pretty funny though. Now it looks like we are going to have Last go for a Gateway first here. Very, very standard play among the Korean Protosses these days. Forge Fast Expand still gets used, but Gateway Expand is definitely more common, which is why 12 Hatch kind of went out of fashion and everyone goes Overhaul like Dragon is doing here. Now, a little bit of an interesting tidbit of information here for Dragon, and Last as well. So, Last has an 80% win rate against Zerg, but that's only over 5 games. Guess how much of a win rate percentage Dragon has against Protoss? Entirely ZvP, and guess how many games he's played in the STPL. I'll give chat like a minute or so to figure it out, but it's pretty damn high. Okay, Home's back. You were 1% off, it's 84%, but I'll give it to you, and he's played 19 games. He has won 16 games against Protoss and only lost 3 of them. And he currently... Is he still on his win streak? No, he lost his win streak, but he went 12-0 against Protoss at one point, which is ridiculous. Now, Dragon is actually building his third base very far away. Looks like the probe did block the drone for a bit. So rather than deal with it, Dragon's like, screw it, I'm just gonna go build my base far away. And look at this. Last is actually sending his Zealot up there. Oh, he's going over to where he thinks the third is, not where it actually is. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him. Now, another bit of information that could be worthwhile is Dragon's average game duration against Protoss is only 16 minutes 50. That is quite long when you look at a lot of the ZvP players, because a lot of them just like Hydra all in all the time, but Dragon's games often go quite long, so we could have a long game here. Okay, it looks like we are going to have some Lings coming in here. This is before the cannons are done. Now, he's not going to get in, so unfortunately, unlike StRyKeR, he's not going to be able to get into the base, but he is going to put some pressure on the wall, force the Zealots back a little bit. Going to make this a little bit harder to do. Gas coming in here for Last as well. I'm going to keep getting the names around the wrong way, but at least I've called no one LML today. That's a bonus. We've got Red coming up on Friday, so I'm looking forward to LML sitting in chat, complaining every time I call Master ALML. Oh man, but we've got a lot of Zealots out here already. 5 against, I think this is 12 Lings. Yeah, 12 Lings. Not really going to be able to do any damage. Dragon, of course, going into his lair quite quickly here, going for a more macro-orientated play. This doesn't surprise me at all. Now, +1 has only just started. Going for a gateway first means your upgrade's usually a little bit later, but it's not the end of the world. You'll still hit a relatively fast +1 Zealot speed timing. Now, looks like he wants to come out and fight the Lings head on. This is a fairly risky play, but he does have around half, which should be enough to kill these Lings, so Dragon does need to respect them, does fall back. But this is going to give him the chance of going for a walk around, and that is definitely not something you want to have happen. But Dragon doesn't have any defense back at home, so he is going to need to pull these Lings back. He has no choice but to do that. Let's see if he can deal with the Lings. Nice surround coming in. Dragon is so good with his Ling movement. Does get one of the Zealots very, very quickly. Some of the Zealots do get on the top of the ramp, which makes it very hard to push forward. It looks like Dragon is going to be able to clean this up without taking too much damage at all, so nicely, nicely done. This third base is still completely uncontested. We're going to have the 4th hatchery coming up down here. We'll have the 5th hatchery down here soon, most likely. To help all that in. Spire coming up as well. Now, Dragon is not opposed to going Mutalisks in PvZ or in ZvP, so I wonder if he's going to do that. The thing that amazes me the most about Dragon's ZvP is because he is a Protoss main through and through, but he mains ZvP. He knows the pain that Protoss face in PvZ, and he just uses everything that could possibly be annoying to play against, and uses it against his Protoss opponents. There's a little bit of chat going on about StarCraft 2. Doc saying he's master at Zerg in StarCraft 2. And apparently Seriosity only ever got silver. I got master 1 season, but that was when they opened it up to more players. That was all the way back in like HOTS. And that was just Terran. But I couldn't win TvP. Like, I literally could not win any TvP games. I just gave up.
Amused, huh?
Please free the Doodle or I'll unsubscribe immediately.
Thank you, FakeFin, for the sub. Yeah, I just didn't like Bio playing StarCraft 2 at all. It was too easy in TvT and it was boring. And in TvP, it was way too hard and I couldn't do it. Like, I just didn't enjoy StarCraft 2. I don't know. Looks like the first Corsair is going to get away from Dragon. That's a stark contrast to our first game of the series on Charmander, where the first Corsair did get taken down. So, Blast definitely showing why he's damn good. Looks like some Zealots coming in here trying to do some damage. 3 Sunkens up already though. Gonna help defend against this. Some drones being pulled as well. And it looks like once again, Dragon is going to be able to stave off another attack without taking too much damage. Although this time, I don't know about this one. This isn't going too well. Drones have been pulled to help defend against this. These 2 Zealots are still alive. They're killing drones very, very fast. 3 drones have gone down already. And wait. Oh my god, there is a DT here. He has to block the DT. He gets the block, but can he kill the DT? Yes, he can. Nice pick off. There's no Overlord in his main. Killing that DT is probably the most important moment in the game. There we go. It looks like we had a single lane get through here in the wall. Unable to really do too much, but still pretty good. Dragon going for his 4th base here. This is actually going to be a 6th hatchery for his 4th base. But that block right here with those drones may have just saved Dragon the game here. You can technically play Brood War with your VR headset on. I nearly casted with my headset on, but then I realized it's just everything is much bigger. Like when you cast, well, when you've got your Brood War, when your VR headset's on, the screen is huge. Like I've got a 27-inch screen. And when it's in front of your face, it's like 4 times the size of my 27-inch screen. It's really, really cool. Dragon's killing his creep colony. Okay, that's something you don't see every day. Oh, looks like both players are going to be killing their own buildings because they're both locked in. So still only +1 done, +2 about half the way through. Back in the base we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways. Along with the Templar Archives. Looks like Storm is done already. Dragoon range is on the way. We never actually got +1 attack on the Corsair, so It means a muteless switch here could be quite strong if he goes for it. Obviously, if you can use the muteless to snipe the Templars, then there's not really much that Protoss can do. Queen's Nest coming in already, so we're going to have a quick hive. Well, I say a quick hive, it's 11 minutes. Not too quick, but still a ton of hatcheries. I think we're up to 8 hatcheries now for Dragon. He's at 59 workers. He's got more workers, more drones than there are probes. So Dragon's economy is booming right now. I think if we're using modern internet terminology, does that mean that Dragon is a boomer? Am I right, guys? I know what boomer actually means, by the way. I also know the meme, but I thought that'd be funny. I'm laughing at how bad my own... Okay, back to the game. Looks like Last is going to push in here. There's not as many Sunkens as maybe there could be, so he is going to be able to take down the front creep colonies, but the lurkers at the front are going to be worth their weight in gold as they push forward, as there is currently no detection up here, minus Storm. Now both the Sunkens finish. They of course do lose 100 health when they morph from a creep colony to a Sunken, if you didn't know that. Which is why he was trying to put as much damage as possible on them. Yeah, I can't help but laugh at my own terrible jokes. Doc Holiday saying, "What the hell? This isn't SimCity." Sim Fortress, says Doc. Oh my god. This is tower defense for our Zerg player right here. All he has to do is get up to Plague and then he wins, right? That's what we saw happen to poor old dsaqwe. Now that was a good storm, but it only hit one. That was a very good storm. Oh my goodness. Is this still not enough? Is Dragon gonna get busted? Is that what's happening here? Is he actually gonna lose from this push? Another lurker gets stormed. The storms just keep on coming. The Dragoons are going down though. The Sunkens are still holding strong. And look at the storms from the back High Templar there. And oh my goodness, 3 lurkers getting stormed at a time. Luckily enough, Dragon's economy is ridiculously strong because he would be in a lot of trouble now if he didn't have 63 workers, I'm telling you. There's no reinforcements from Protoss though, which means this should be able to be cleaned up from the reinforcements coming in from Dragon. But this is definitely not something that Dragon wanted to have happen, but somehow he's still close in supply. OctZerg is only defensive in TvZ after like the first 10 minutes. Like in the first 10 minutes, they're like super aggressive. And also, it's hard to say that, like, okay, I'm going to call you out on this one, Doc. It's hard to say that Zerg are defensive in PvZ when most games of ZvP end in a 3-hatch Hydra burst. Or a Ling all-in. That's not very fair to call it defensive when you play one style of Zerg versus Protoss, which is this one. And you call that defensive in all of ZvP. Zerg are definitely the aggressors in ZvP. Like, super late game, I think they defend more just because it's so easy. It's easier to defend in Brood War than it is to attack. So that's why like late game TvP is usually Terran like turtling as well. And Mech Terran against Zerg turtling as well, which I know you absolutely hate. Now it looks like Last in the middle of the map here, going for a push at the 12 o'clock location. We do have a Stargate, I mean that's been done for a while, but no Arbiter Tribunal this game, so we're not going to see what dsaqwe went for with the Arbiters. We've got the 4th base coming up in a pretty good spot. We've got +2 attack done, but this is an even more heavily defended base than the previous one. We've got the Observers going down as well, which means this is going to be a lot harder to be able to kill those. Looks like the other Observer does go down here, so Lurkers cannot be seen anymore. But look at these storm. Oh my goodness, that storm is incredible. But there's so many lurkers. There are so many lurkers. Now it looks like he will be able to push the units back. His economy is still in a ridiculously good spot, so it's not the end of the game for Dragon. He's still holding on. And this looks like it will be a game that's gonna last a while here. We've actually got the shield upgrades coming in now, so we've got +3 attack going into shield. Shield upgrades actually not that bad for Archons and all of the units against Plague. But of course with shield, it is quite expensive, so that's why you don't see it as much. The armor upgrade coming in as well. Robust support may coming in, so we are going to have Reavers come in. Now one of the big problems we've seen from a lot of pro players recently is late game they've been trying to skip Reavers because Reavers aren't realistically that good other than in very specific circumstances. And there we go. Now Yarn CC saying, is the game speed increased? I don't believe it is. Is it? Maybe it is. Maybe wait, I'm gonna... Was I on ×2 the whole time? Or is this slow? Oh, we had a storm drop coming in. That's a... I shouldn't have paid attention to that. Oh my goodness. But that's a big storm drop. Killing 7 drones. Not too bad. We've got another push in coming in over here. Now I can't tell if this is slow, and I don't want to show the progress bar. I've got nothing to hide the progress bar behind either, so... Yeah, this is pretty slow. Like, I think this is fastest. You know what? What we're going to do, I'm just going to do this quickly. We're going to hide Brood War. No, it was, yeah, it was on, so it was on fastest. But we're fine. Goons are just fast. There we go. It was, when I pressed D, it went to faster, and that was what we were just on. So it was on fastest. But we're fine. Also, what people don't realize is Dragoons, when they're running normally, run at supersonic speeds. It's just they waddle around so oddly that it doesn't happen very often. Now, this 4th base is in a pretty good position, but we've got a 6th base for Dragon down here in the bottom of your screen there. A little contingent of Zealots going to try and clear out some of these Lings to allow him to take a 5th base himself. Now Dragon definitely has the map advantage. He's taking another base up here in the top left hand corner. He has this base as well. And because of the fact he has the other main, it's effectively limiting the number of gases that Last is ever going to be able to take. So the longer this game goes on, another storm drop coming in. This is a big one. 4 kills on that High Templar. Didn't count the other ones, but look at how much blood there is. So many drones going down. Now Dragon, of course, does have a ton of hatcheries, so he can rebuild these workers very quickly. But while he's rebuilding them, this gives a timing for Last to be able to take out one of these bases. Now it looks like Dragon has just built a replacement 14 Lings, I think that is. Going up to 60 now. Not Lings, sorry, drones. Interestingly, we don't have any, like, stack defense here. He's going to use some Scourge, but here we go. Looks like we are going to have a push down coming in. We actually ate an Overlord, so we could get a Swarm up here. Now there's a Storm. That's going to be a pretty good move. We've got a lot of units coming in to try and help defend this base, but there's not that much to defend back here. A lot of the units are defending the other bases right now, so the Lurkers are going to be in a bit of a weird spot. But here they go. They are pushing forward, getting on top of the Archons. Swarm comes down, and that is going to thwart this attack. Dragon not losing any workers there. Dragon actually coming close in supply now to our Protoss player. And so far, I'm just going to say this series, we've had 2 incredibly good PvZs. This one is definitely like a lot of back and forth. Last is definitely struggling because he can't find an in. He can't break into Dragon's defense. And I think that's why Dragon's playing like this, because he knows how frustrating it is to play against. Like, if you're a Protoss player in this situation, you're like, I'm losing because I can't get enough bases. I need to kill one of the bases somewhere. Like, you know you have to do it, but you just can't. Zerg just seem to have an infinite number of swarms, an infinite number of plagues, and an infinite number of units off of so many hatcheries. Like, how do we have Last Expand again? The only place he's got is down here, but it's right next to Dragon. Now, there are a lot of Archons here. They do have 3-1-1 now, which is a very good upgrade stance. We've got 2-3 for our Zerg player. This first swarm comes in, but there's still a lot of Zealots coming up here. The Lurkers under the swarm go down, and it does look like we are going to see this base go down. So the first base is going to fall here for Dragon. He's going to pull his drones back. This isn't the end of the world to lose this base, but it is a little win. We have a storm drop coming in up here. It did kill a decent number of drones again. Sorry, I did miss that. I was keeping an eye on the main engagement rather than a drop. He didn't drop the main this time, so not getting a huge number of damage, but Last continuing with his supply advantage. 3-2-1 is now done. 3-2-2. 2-2 is actually almost finished. Well, it's like halfway done. But looks like Dragon is going to be the one going on the offense there. But look at those storms! Oh my goodness! All the Lings go down immediately. 3 storms. 1,000,000 kills. And that Defiler is not going to be doing anything. There is still 2 Lings under the swarm though, so they can kill the base. But the Zealots will clean that up. Now it looks like we do have some Reavers that have waddled the whole way down here, and they are going to help try and defend this base. Of course we do have the Overlord seeing this, but Dragon is still defending. He's not got too many units that he can use for attacking. He lost a lot of Overlords throughout the course of that engagement as well, so he is supply blocked, and that's a lot of minerals he doesn't want to replace. Disruption Web does work on Lurkers. Anything under Disruption Web cannot attack, including melee units. It's one of the only spells like it in the game as well, that literally affects anything but air units. Well, that's 50. Well, that's 30 minerals he ain't getting back. Foolish Protoss player letting his Reavers attack. Oh, Maelstrom doesn't work on Lurkers apparently. I'm sure it does, doesn't it? Oh, when they're burrowed it doesn't work, okay. Okay, I just saw it unburrowed them. I guess I've never seen anyone try and do it before, so I just never realized. There is part of me that wishes I played Protoss or knew how to play Protoss so I could use Dark Archons, because they're one of my favorite units. Okay, now looks like we are going to have Last trying to push into the 12 o'clock location here. If he can break the heartland of the Zerg economy, he's going to be in a good spot. But look at the first Plague. The second Plague should be coming in after this as well. We've got the Lurkers burrowing at the back. The Sunkens, worth their weight in gold, taking down these Archon shields very quickly. But these Reavers are going to be very, very important. So does need to keep that shot alive. Going to pull back. Traded pretty evenly there, I would say. Dragon, of course, still ahead in bases, still ahead in positioning, but it looks like Dragon is going to be the one going for a drop here. He's going to drop Lurkers on the mineral line. Unfortunately, no swarm with it, so these Reavers should be able to clean this up. But look at the pull away. Last sees this immediately. Oh, look at that. Picks up the Lurkers before the Reavers shots hit them. Nicely done. An extra cannon being added on here as well. Now looks like we've got Dragon trying to take the 6 o'clock base again. If he can hold on to this, he's got a staging ground to attack the only remaining base of Protoss that isn't one of his original 4 bases. The Lurkers doing so much damage, the Archons taking a lot of damage. Lurkers do take damage from Archon under Swarm, so it's not the end of the world here for our Protoss player. And it looks like the 6 o'clock base has been broken. essentially, units that are borrowed take direct damage if it's splash that's missed. So if a tank shoots a lurker under a swarm, it won't hit it because it always misses. But if there's a unit just in front of the lurker, where the animation hits behind, it will hit the unit and it will kill the lurker. You can also kill a lurker with an Archon by just attacking it manually, because the splash still hits it, because of where the attack hits. Looks like those lurkers did try and come back in to do some more damage, but didn't make it. A lot of Last's army has been going down here. It's 3/2/2 upgrades now. Is +3 armor and shield coming in? Yes, they are. They're coming in at pretty much exactly the same time as the other upgrades. Now Last is still holding on, but let's have a look at the situation. His main is mined out. His natural is mined out. His third is mined out. His fourth is very, very dry. It's about to mine out, essentially. So the only remaining base he has is down here. Now if we look at Dragon, I just missed another storm drop, but it looks like he has cleaned up. Didn't lose too many workers, at the very least, but... I mean, he probably should just drop the High Templar there. I don't think this is going to go very well, but looks like we've got a engagement going on in the middle. He wants to get away. Oh, the Scourge miss! He does drop, gets another storm, but only gets 3 of the workers. Last's army control has been very, very good. Dragon is starting to struggle a little bit, but let's count the bases. We've got 1 that's mined out, 2 that's mined out. The third base is still kind of halfway healthy. I suppose this was the 4th. The third is almost gone. The 5th is perfectly fine, and the 6th is obviously doing very, very well. He only just took this. So the bottom 2 bases are about to become the staging ground for the finale of this game, because if Dragon can break those bases, if he can just break one of those locations, then that is going to be the end of the game, because Last is out of money. His army is good. He's got a great set of units, but he is not going to be able to remax very well. So we are going to have Dragon coming in from multiple angles most likely, and he is going to try and find his way to kill the Protoss army. 3/3/3 upgrades are done. This is the most powerful you could possibly have in a Protoss army against 3/3 of the Zerg. And he's also got 3/3 on ground as well. So both players very heavily upgraded here. But these bases are super, super important. Looks like we've got another... Oh my god, if he got this Scourged, that would be a very bad mistake. Looks like he wants to get it. Oh, he's coming in. He's going to drop on the high ground. This is very, very good. He's going to drop and storm from the high ground. Nice positioning there by our Protoss player. Dragon pulling back the army, coming in. What he should really be doing right now is using his units at the bottom to attack the 6 o'clock. But he is a little bit preoccupied. It's so hard to move all of these units around. Now he's going to burrow all of his lurkers. If he can pull back the units here, then that could be very, very dangerous. Looks like a lot of storm coming in. Storm control by Last this game has been incredible. And it looks like a lot of Dragon's army is going to go down, but Last is down to 120 supply right now. That was a very good trade here by our Zerg player. Dragon doing a very, very good job. Now he still has a lot of units, he still has a lot of bases, and he still has a lot of money. Looks like we had another storm drop coming in here, but it didn't really do too much. Dragon still at 42 workers. But those were some really, really good storms. Now Last is essentially down to 2 bases again. That means he does have the chance of remaxing, but Dragon is the one in a very good position still. Dragon, if he can pull all his army together and go for an attack, he should be able to break it. But Dragon doesn't have that much money either. He's macroing incredibly well, and that means he doesn't have a bank, so if the engagement goes badly, that's not going to go well. So are we going to have a plague coming in from these defilers? Looks like he wants to hold on to it, doesn't want to waste the plague. The plague is going to be used to attack the base. Now here we go, Dragon getting in a position to come in to attack. We've got Scourge leading the charge here with Lurkers, Hydras, and of course the defilers backing this up. It looks like a nice storm going down on the frontal units here. Plague on the units. Let's remove all of that. Nice storms There's so many lurkers here, but there's so much storm that I'm not so sure this is working out well for Dragon. He swarms, but he swarms on top of the lurkers that are all getting stormed anyway, and he's not broken this base. Let's have a look at the supplies in the aftermath of that. The Reaver's obviously going to be helping out with the swarm as well, and Dragon is still up in supply, but his army was absolutely decimated. One of the Reavers does go down, so that's going to make it a little bit easier to push forward. Still does have all of these lurkers. That's going to be hard to deal with. Another Reaver about to go down as well. Doesn't quite get under the storm. Swarm even gets a nice kill on that High Templar, and it looks like Dragon may have done it. He is slowly starting to break his way through. More and more lurkers coming up. They're gonna burrow, but there's an observer here. Is he gonna be able to clean this up? It looks like he is. And there we go. I think this could be the checkmating move. Dragon has so many lurkers here. All he has to do is kill these mining bases and it's game over. We've got a lot of storm coming in to try and defend against this. Is he going to use this to attack? No, he's going to come back and try and defend. But is he going to have anything left to defend here? Looks like we've got Dragon moving in. The final remaining units coming in behind this. Lurkers hitting the Archons, hitting everything as they run through. The Hydra's coming back here as well, and I think Dragon has done it. Dragon, once again, has shown why his ZvP is so incredibly good. He's beaten one of the best players on Wico, I think, here. And I don't know if Wico last can hold on here. Like, this is going to be rough. Just to point out, last's overall score is 16 wins, 5 losses. So he's definitely shown to be a strong contender here in the STPL, but he's just mathematically challenged here. There's no way he can come back in this game, I don't think. One of the bases has gone down. Last is down to one mining base, and all it takes is a single swarm here, and these cannons are worthless. We've got some units blocking the zealots from coming in from the high ground. If he just pushes, he can win the game right now, but he's holding on. He's waiting for enough units to make sure that he doesn't die. But I think this is going to be it. I think he's going to push in a second, and that'll be the end of the game. The supplies are still crazily close. But I'm just... oh my god, he got the 4 High Templars in the shuttle. And he drops and he's killing the probes. He's not even going to try and kill the army or kill the base because he knows the cannons are there. He's just going to plague the army, I think, here. He's got enough energy for a plague and almost a swarm as well. He's going to swarm his Hydras rather than the cannons. He's just going to push in here, and I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin. Very, very well played game by Dragon. Definitely a well-deserved win here, and he is going to be feeling very, very good about that. Okay, it looks like Last is holding on. He's holding on to his base. He doesn't have many workers anymore. But Dragon has still got so many bases, although technically it's only 2 base against 1 now, so could a miracle happen? Could Last come back in this game? It's very, very unlikely, but you never know. It's Brood War. I mean, this is essentially Last's final army. Dragon still has some ability to rebuild units, but he can't afford to not take the units. I'm just hoping that Dragon misreads this situation, and Dragon knows how far ahead he is. Nice snipe on the High Templar. That's the kind of moves you need. And there we go. One of the Archons getting taken down. The Lurkers here going to be so, so powerful. Needs to bring the Overlords up so he can kill the Observers, but another Archon going to fall. Another Lurker going to fall, though. Dragon... Is Dragon going to lose all of his units? There's no way Dragon loses this game, right? There's no way. There's a base down here, but Last can't really attack it. You can see that Last just doesn't have any units. What you see is what you get. Now this base is going to be a good staging ground to attack. It's going to make a choke point for the Lings to kind of trap the Dragoons. And I think this is it. Last supply is dropping to 55, 53. And it's going to keep dropping here. The base is up. He can even sunken push from here if he wanted to. And there's only 2 cannons that stand along with 1 zealot against the full might of the Zerg army. And there we go. GG. Last taps out. He knows there's nothing more he can do. Dragon wins the game, keeps the series and dreams alive for NaS here. And we'll be back after this short break with Terra versus Speed.
Every single day, stress comes in every way. I ain't got no time for nobody. My style is rich, dope, fat, and rich. We'll make a cake today that looks rich. Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack egg into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X and flour into the bowl.
Baking a cake, yes, means you gotta try. I'm doing this for years, but don't ask me why. Butter, butter, butter joins the bowl.
Butter, 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 butter joins the bowl.
You're making us a cake that you've never seen before.
Make us a cake that never seen before. Make us a
Heat up the oven, now we're on a roll.
heat up the oven. Now we roll.
Cheap, cheap, cheap's the name of my soul.
Cheap, 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 cheap. Name your soul.
The other day, I was called a little turkey, but I'm a chicken, got it? Your beef jerky. Poke the cake in the oven for a while.
Put cake oven for a while.
Leave it there, come on, clean the pile.
Leave there, come, clean, pie.
Poke the cake in the oven for a while.
Put cake oven for a while.
Leave it there, come on, clean the pile.
Leave it there, come on, clean, pie.
Here, I got a little sample.
Here, I don't have a
Cause ample time's just what we don't have.
Cause money time's just what we don't have. Cause money
The
is
chicken in the kitchen is making all the sound. The cake is done while we were sitting around. All we gotta do is apply the final touches.
all we gotta do is apply final touch. All we gotta do is
Take out the shrimp, the clam, and the perches.
take out the shrimp, clam, and the perch. Take out the
perch goes here, the clam goes there.
perch goes here, the clam goes here, the clam.
The little tiny shrimps just go everywhere.
The little tiny strip just goes everywhere.
Putting the lights in the middle, fiddle.
Whatever you like, whatever in the middle.
Seafood cake comes just like the riddle.
Seafood cake, seafood comes just come like red.
Okay, that wasn't so hard, was it?
No problem. But how'd you get out the TV?
Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 4 of NaS versus Wico. Wico are still up 2-1. Dragon did a fantastic job to keep his team's dream alive in the series. But it's going to be up to Terra here, the Peruvian powerhouse himself, to keep NaS in and take us to an ace match. Starting us off here at the 12 o'clock location is his opponent. It's going to be Speed, fighting for Wico. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom middle 6 o'clock location. We do have Terra fighting for NaS. Okay, so just to go through a little bit of the win rates, we can already see there's a probe walking out onto the map, so there's going to be a proxy gateway coming in here. Terra has got a 66% win rate against Protoss over 18 games. Speed is relatively new to the STPL, so we don't actually have any PvT statistics for him, so I mean, this is a quick probe. He's going for a gas steal. It's not going to be a proxy gate, it's going to be a gas steal. But look at this, Terra gets it. There we go. Terra knows how important gas is to the Terran economy, and he steals it before his opponent can, just like any good human does in real life. But it looks like we do have a mana pylon. It's only blocking one of the SCVs, so not the biggest deal. You can actually just probably leave this, but you should attack it with this SCV, which is going to do... Now, he's not built a SimCity yet, so I'm hoping that he builds another a depot there. Yeah, he is going to. So he's going for the wall. Not wasting too much time on this mana pylon. It really isn't worth attacking. There we go. Looks like he is going to scout the Zealot coming towards him. So he knows he's going to need about 3 Marines at the very least. Core coming up, sees that. Sees only 1 gateway. The Terror's looking in a pretty good spot so far. The pylon's still up, so he is going to use another SCV to kill that. We've got the factory coming in here to also add another part to this wall. Pretty good so far. Now, as I mentioned, if Terra cannot win this game, NaS will lose the series and Wico will hold on to their 2nd place position in the STPL for now. Wait, are they definitely 2nd? Yeah, they're just above Ash at the moment, but if they win, they'll go... Yeah, they'll go 5-1, because Seoul haven't played their game for this week yet. Now, one thing to note about Wico that a lot of people pointed out I didn't know about. I mean, there's not really any good examples of this, but thank you, Sar, for the 100 bits. Wico are a very aggressive clan when it comes to playstyle, so it would not surprise me to see Speed do something interesting here, like maybe a Citadel or a Robo for a Reaver. We've got 2 Zealots coming into the main base here. This shouldn't do too much damage. Looks like we've got pretty good micro so far by Zealot, by Terra. I don't know why I said by Zealot. I saw a Zealot and I was like, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean here. Okay, now Terra going to move out with his Marines. He does have the option of using the Vulture to go attack now. He's going to use it as scout for any proxies first. Terra definitely playing this well. He knows his opponent's got 2 gateways and nothing else. And there's no Nexus coming up yet, so he feels there should be some hidden proxy somewhere. Unfortunately for him there isn't, but he is checking anyway, just to be sure. Checking for hidden bases as well, very, very important to do, especially in TvP. A hidden base can be so annoying to deal with in any matchup, but oh my god, he's actually going to get the Vulture past the Dragoons. Is he going to win with the Vulture? Oh no, there is going to be a Dragoon. There is going to be a Dragoon, but it's only going to be 1 against 1 Vulture. Let's keep an eye on the kills. We've got 1 kill so far. Can he get a second one? There's no mines just yet, so it's not 2 kills. 3 kills, actually. 4 kills. Definitely well worth the money he just spent on it. Now, Terra is going to push forward with a strong FD push here. He's going to have a second tank coming in here. Now, it is against 2 gateways with only 1 factory, so this shouldn't work. But he's going to move out. He's got siege already, so he's going to be able to secure his second base. This is definitely a weird build, though, from Terra. It looks like he wants to end the game with 3 tanks, but that's very difficult to do against 2-gate Power Goon, which is what he's up against. Now, we've got the Robo coming in. If he can get Reavers on time, obviously that's going to help it. It's going to be 3 gateways by the time his push gets there. He may be able to kill the Nexus, though. Oh, he's going to kill the Ursidon. Okay, well, I'm sorry, guys. Terra's lost the game. That's the curse. You kill a critter, then you die. That's basically the curse everyone knows about. No Nexus or no Command Center still, so Terra's going all in. He's adding a second factory. He's going to be fighting uphill against 4 Dragoons. This is definitely not what you want to do. He's going to have 3 tanks at the very least. He's done a decent amount of damage, but if all of these Marines go down, like, he needs to siege his tanks, but he wants to get as far forward as he possibly can. Now, here we go. He sieges there. Now, he's in a position where he can leapfrog all of his tanks now, but the Dragoon's going to come out. They're going to target down one of these tanks fairly quickly. Probes have been pulled as well. I don't think this is going to work. It saddens to say, but I think Terra may have just thrown the game away. Does get 2 of the kills on the Dragoons, but his tank is going to go down. And there's still no expansion from Terra, whereas Speed has it. GG, Terra taps out. His push didn't work. I don't know why he pushed it against 2 gates with that, but there we go. It's just... that's it. Speed wins the game. Perfect defense. And wins the series for Wico. Okay, so that's a little bit disappointing to see, especially after Dragon did such a good job against last. But unfortunately, Wico are going to get the 3-1 victory over NaS. But if there's one thing you can say about this series, every single game pretty much was close. StRyKeR versus Bypass was the only one that wasn't as such, but that was just a lack of SimCity, I think, from StRyKER's side. But either way, it was a great series nevertheless. We had some great games today. Mutely beat dsaqwe in a pretty long, awesome ZvP. We had Bypass take down StRyKER. That was a fairly straightforward game. Dragon versus Last was definitely the best game of today, without a doubt. It was so good. And then we had Speed versus Terra as well. That was probably the most straightforward one. Terra went for something, but unfortunately it didn't work. He lost too many Marines too early, and he didn't pull any SCVs, so that didn't work. But yeah, the Ursadon won the game again. That's just how it is. Once again, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Esport Fund and Matrino, and of course anyone who's supporting on Patreon. I really appreciate you, and anyone who's obviously been donating. The important people, as well as of course all of you wonderful people who often tune in every single time I cast. It would be a very lonely cast without you guys, so thank you for keeping me company in the chat. You guys are all awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you want to check out the VODs of previous series, you can check it out over on the YouTube at youtube.com/STPLTV. Check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/STPLTV. If you want to see me posting in Japanese and posting a bunch of VR chat photos, follow me on Twitter on KicksSD. And that's basically it for me, guys. So that's going to be it for the STPL for today. We'll be back on Friday with Rev versus Soul and DM versus Red. And I'll see you guys 2100 CEST, same time, same place. Have a good one. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.